right, we want to thank Mike V for all his help on our street section, old school style. And we covered a lot of ground last couple of videos. Street, mini ramp, old school, freestyle. We're finally up here where I feel at home, the vert ramp. So we're gonna teach you some basics of vert. Joining us is world champion, skateboarder, X Games gold medalist, Bucky Lasek. And he's ready to go. So I guess we better get started. And I'm excited. We're gonna show you some good stuff. Ready? Well, to start off on a vert ramp, you want to learn how to drop in. And we kind of covered drop-ins on our mini ramp section of our last video, but dropping on a vert is kind of it's a whole different thing. It's, you know, instead of going from this.
Enough about the drop-in.
Damn.
I have a phone call. Listen, I'm trying to drop in here. I'm gonna have to call you back. Okay. Anybody who drops in for the first time on a mini ramp, they always lean back too much. I say, lean forward as much as you possibly can, and they think it's like so dangerous to do that, but they always end up leaning too much back, smacking their head, or sliding down on their. But on the vert ramp, it looks pretty scary standing up like this, but does it look scary when you're like this? Look how much smaller it looks when you're bending down like that.
Well, if anyone knows about dropping on vert, it's Bam. So he's got some good advice. You can start in a kind of a squat when you get up there and just sort of let your legs extend on the way down, but you just got to make sure you lean forward because everyone does that. They drop in and that's called Mr. Wilson.
Yeah. Well, why do they do that? They always just lean back way too much, and even when they try it again and again, they still lean too much back, and then like the fourth time, they finally realize that leaning forward isn't so scary.
What happened the first time you dropped in on vert? You remember?
First time I dropped in on vert, I axled in.
You did axle drop?
I axled in like this. I thought it would be easier for some reason, and my trucks were too much on this side of coping. I hung up, ate the worst crap ever. I was like 13 and it sucked.
Yeah, you don't want to start with the axle drop. What you want to do is just get over there. Don't wait too long, right? Because you look down, it looks kind of scary, but the more you sit there and contemplate it, it's like, oh, and then you wimp out. You just got to put your board down there, and you know you can do it. You've done it on a mini ramp. Lean forward. That's it.
That was some good posture right there.
Thank you. What about the squat in? You can kind of do the squat in, but it's a little bit harder to regain your balance because you start here and you're like. You don't get as much speed. So that's about it, you know? You can drop in a mini ramp, you can do it on vert. It's just a psychological thing.
So now that you got some confidence dropping in, you're going to be able to do radder tricks such as Tony, backside air, nice front side air, fakie rock. I don't know what that's called. Nice air to fakie, gay twist, my favorite, tail slide, and an invert. Pure crowd pleaser right there. And now Tony and Bucky are going to show you how to do this step by step, but I'm out of here.
A good place to start on vert in terms of tricks are airs. You know, if you can drop in, even if you can't drop in, you can work your way up to airs. Frontside's probably the best way to start because frontside means that you're facing the wall. You can actually look where you're going and work your way up as you go. So when you start ollieing on vert, it's a different technique. You actually ollie upward instead of out from the wall, you know, and it's a little more subtle, but it doesn't take that much effort. What else?
Well, the higher you go, the less you pull out, and you bonk off the coping, the higher you go.
Yep, you can start frontside airs by grabbing them between your legs, which we call a stink bug, and then as you get more comfortable, you end up going around your knee, called tuck knee. That's for style points. Main things to remember on a frontside air: the takeoff. You want to ollie out, not too far, not too hard, but just into your hand. You can actually start by learning kick turns and grabbing them, and then start pulling off eventually. What else? You want to make sure you got a good hold of it, you know, and that you actually are going to turn the full 180, because sometimes you can end up coming short and falling back.
Yeah, a lot of people lean back when they go up, so they can't come back in. You want to stay ahead of your board, and you want to carve it like a kick turn.
Yeah, so you're kind of on top of it, and then the landing, you just let it go, drop it down, and lean forward. You know, if you can practice your kick turns, grabbing them, eventually you can just start pulling it off the wall and frontside airs. Once you're confident with the frontside grab technique, try other variations, such as slob.
Thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Lean, tail grab, and stale fish. All right, the good thing about frontside airs is you can do them at almost any height. You can work your way up the wall just by doing kick turns. Eventually, work your way up over the coping, and you can even get up in the 6-foot range, like Bucky there. Key things to remember: make sure you pull off the wall. Right, go up. You want to get the board off the wall. A little ollie, straight into your hand. What else?
You don't want to lean back, because if you lean back, you're not really going to be able to fall except for on your butt. And you want to stay on top of it, because you don't want to lean too far forward or hang up. So you just want to cruise it, get a little bonk into your hand, keep the carve, stay on top of your board, and put it down.
You got to make sure you pull off, especially when you're getting over the coping, because that's when you start hanging up in danger zone. That's about it. Just make sure that you turn the complete 180, not too far, because if you turn too far, especially on a slippery ramp, you're going to slide out. It's not a pretty sight. So just keep working on them. Try them kick turns, start blocking off the coping, and suddenly you can stink it up like him. All right, backside airs. Backside airs is a little different story. A little more dangerous. Backside airs, best thing to do is start doing kick turns, reaching down, grabbing your board with your lead hand right next to your front heel, a little bit in front of it. Just kind of like that. Just give it a little tappy tap. Give it a little tappy tap. And then as you start getting higher, they're easier to do up on vert. You just lift off just a little bit, and you come back in like a kick turn.
The whole thing to remember is to take the kick turn to another level. So you just want to keep that carve staying over top your board like a kick turn, grabbing the board in front of the foot like Tony said, and you kind of want to hold the board to the bottom of your foot the best that you can, and you just want to give a little scrape of the tail, and the higher you go, that scrape will turn into an air. I remember when I first learned backside airs, it was sketchy, like taking it from that level to getting air, over rotating, fracturing the rib.
Ooh. Okay, we're gonna teach you how not to do that, but how to do it right.
Tony's gonna demonstrate the over rotation.
No, we don't. We'll explain it. You know, you can visualize. All right. So let's do some the right way, and we'll get you started.
Yeah.
No, after you.
No, really, go.
No, I insist.
Come on, it's your thing. I'm just a guest.
Grab the board as you lift the front wheels off the wall and hold it tight to keep your back foot on. Slightly straighten your back leg and use it to guide your landing. As your wheels near the wall, let go and straighten both legs to land as high as possible without hanging up. All right, backside airs, well, there's a few things that can go horribly wrong, and Bucky and I couldn't really...
I'm not gonna demonstrate them.
Yeah, we couldn't really bring ourselves to do the demonstration because they can end up in a bad headache. First one is not pulling off the wall enough when you're over the coping and you hang up. And the hang up on a backside air is not a pretty one. It's not something you can just sort of ease your way out of. So best way to alleviate that is just really, hey, practice your kick turns. I mean, you can't practice kick turns enough. Reaching down and grabbing and making sure that you're comfortable with lifting off the wall, lifting it off, getting it over the coping, out onto the wall.
Get the carve. You can't stress the fact that you got to practice this one a lot. A lot of things stem from this trick, and you can't you can't take it for granted, because when you take it for granted, you're gonna get served up in chicken neck.
The other thing can go wrong, which is a real heavy on the chicken neck meter, is the overturn. And that's when you take off and you're spinning too far, your back wheels you end up not coming down the wall straight, you're a little cocked, and your back wheels will just fishtail out and send you on your back on the flat. That's not a good one either. So same thing, practice the kick turns, you know? If you're not overturning your kick turns, you shouldn't be overturning your airs. It's the same motion, it's the same rotation. So just keep practicing. And last one is you get off the wall and you're not too sure of yourself and you're leaning back. And bottom line is, think of it just like your kick turn. You're leaning forward when you come in, you know? If you're leaning back, then you're gonna end up shooting out on the flat. And all three have real good whiplash potential.
You probably won't have wrists left. So you gotta wear all your safety gear and just get the flojo going and don't take it for granted.
That's about it. You know, backside airs, you do take them for granted eventually just because they end up being your setup for other tricks. But when you first start learning them, take it serious. You know, you want to make sure that you got those things wired and that you're not going to get served up.
Sure.
Okay, we've done backside airs, we've done frontside airs.
Air fakie.
Air to fakie. You don't have to turn. You just go up straight and you come back down backwards.
That coming down backwards part is pretty sketchy though.
It doesn't have to be sketchy. You just got to make sure that you're lined up coming in straight.
Yeah, you're not gonna pull out too far, and you're not gonna hang up, and you're not gonna rotate this way or that way. You just kind of hold your position and stick to it.
That's it. You can start it low. You know, you can even do an early grab it before you get up to the peak, and just give it a little jump just to get that feeling of being airborne and coming in backwards. And then as you get closer to the top, you know, you ollie into it just the way you would on a backside or frontside air. Just got to make sure that you get off the wall enough so you don't hang up, because you don't want to hang up on your front trucks, and you don't pull off too far, because bottom landing and coming down backwards don't mix. So we'll demonstrate some for you. I think the easiest way to grab is melon, and Bucky's gonna stink his way right in. All right, airs to fakie. You know, 3 basic things that could go wrong are about the same as other air tricks. One is the lockup. You go off over the coping and you don't pull off enough, and you try to land, and one of your trucks stays behind, and that sends your body to the flat. So just make sure you come off the wall enough, but not too much, because you do air to fakie and you come off too much, you're landing in the flat and you're going backwards, and that's really not going to work either.
No.
What else?
Turning your body, going up. You want to keep the same position as when you go up and come back down. It's kind of like you'll feel your momentum slow down, and then you'll just drop back in. And you don't want to turn front side or back side, because then you'll just...
Yeah, it doesn't work coming in backwards, you know? So you just make sure you're straight. Straight up, straight down. Air to fakie. All right.
Okay, well, we talked a lot about the basics, and one of the basics we haven't touched on yet is a fakie ollie. T's taking a break right now. He's talking to Spielberg or something like that. But what it is you're going to do a fakie, and we're going to pop a little ollie. It teaches you timing. It gives you a view of landing. You can spot your landing, and you can get the feeling of landing a trick, you know, where you're taking off the ramp. So I'm going to demonstrate a little fakie ollie right here. What you do, you just take that a little higher and higher, and then before you know it, you're bonking off the coping. You're not really snapping your tail, and you're just giving it a little pop, you know, just like what I said earlier, how you pop off of a crack on a curb, and it's basically an ollie, and you just catch some air, spot your landing, you stay over top your board, and you just ride away. You just take it higher and higher, and before you know it, you're doing sevens. So go practice.
As you near the top, slightly lift your front wheels and bonk your back wheels off the coping in an ollie motion. Be careful not to hit your tail, as the coping can stop your board instantly.
Okay, wrapping up the fakie ollie. The one thing I want to stress on you about is keeping your feet set up good for the ollie. Getting a good bonk off the coping, start off low, work your way up to the coping, get a good bonk. It's definitely a way to spot your landing and get the timing down. And I'm gonna go find T, man, because I don't know where he is, and I get kind of nervous in front of the camera and stuff.
Half cabs on vert. Half cabs on the vert are not that much different than on the street. The real difference is that you're on the wall and you have to ride down backwards. Half cab on street, you come out forward, but you're on one side of the wall, so you come up, you do a little fakie ollie, you give it a little turn, and you ride down backwards. It's a real subtle move. It's not that hard to do.
It's a great trick. It feels awesome. It's just a nice, smooth feeling.
And you can do it at any height. You can do it on the very bottom of the ramp or even up at the top. It's a little different move. The ollie is, you gotta ollie a little more when you're on the bottom because you don't have that vert to throw you out. And then as you get closer to the top, you just give it a little lift, and you're coming backwards. I'll show you some, I'll give you some pointers, I'll show you what not to do. Half cab, here we go.
Let's do this.
Approach the wall with your upper body turned in the direction you want to go. Do a slight ollie and turn while keeping your body over your board. Hover over it until you've rotated the full 180 and shift your weight towards your back in preparation for a landing. If you're feeling sassy with your half cab, get your grab on. You can try it mute, Indy, or even go the other direction with a frontside half cab. Okay, there's a couple of major problems with half cabs. One is overturning it. As you come up, you're just trying to force the turn too much, and it's more of a subtle move. Once you pop off the wall, your board will just come around if your shoulder's in the right position. But if you really wind it up, you're gonna go into a full cab and you're gonna end up sort of overturning, and it just doesn't work. So just remember, it's a subtle turn. What else?
Also, hitting off the coping, it's really touchy because if you bonk off too far, you're gonna pop out too far. And then also, if you ollie a little too much in the beginning, you'll hit your tail on the coping and you'll just hear this sound. It's like bong,
and it just gets rejected. Your board's just gonna fly back down to the flat before you're even on the wall again. So the ollie is real subtle. When you're in the ramp, you can really ollie it the way you do on the street, like a fake ollie, hit your tail. But once you get up near the coping, you just use the coping to bonk your wheels, and so that's a real subtle ollie. It just doesn't take very much to lift it off. And just suck it up with your feet, bend your knees until you feel it coming back down, and set it down on the wall. It's a really good trick to learn how to land fakie. It's a really good trick just kind of in between other tricks, and it's a good setup. So we recommend you learn it.
It's awesome.
All right, one of the first lip tricks to learn on vert is a rock to fakie, and that's just going up all the way to the top, hitting the bottom of your board on the coping, lifting up your wheels and come back in. And it's all about commitment and clearing your wheels. That's it. Just like doing a fakie, but you just gotta make sure that you let those wheels clear, because you hang up and bad news, bad times. Another variation of that is the rock and roll. It's an old trick that we used to do in pools, and Bucky's really eager to teach them to you, right?
Yeah, like T-Rex here was saying, the rock and roll and the rock and roll to fakie is a very basic trick that not too many people do anymore, but the rock and roll to fakie, I think, is definitely the favorite out of both of them.
So rock and roll, it's a little bit more complicated because you're doing a 180, so you got to give your wheels more time to clear the coping as they come in. But it's all about just rocking up there and doing like an exaggerated kick turn and turning your body all the way around. Your shoulders have got to be committed to that 180, otherwise you're gonna either not turn enough or you're gonna hit your front wheels on the coping. Either way, it seems like a basic trick, but it's not that easy, and you can get hurt doing it. So be careful on it. Make sure your wheels are clear, and lean in just like you would on a kick turn. We'll do a few for you. Bucky can't wait to get his rock and roll on. Right?
Yeah. Dinosaur and roll.
You gotta
T-Rex.
You gotta remember your roots, buddy.
Dude, let's do it right now. Cab rock fakie, cab rock roll, cab frontside rock. What do you want?
I want it all. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sure you got that?
Hit those wheels, boy!
Now watch very carefully here. It's very dangerous. I'm just gonna try to grab. Oh my God! That was amazing. That was a 1 foot rock and roll.
Slightly lift your front wheels as you approach the top and rock the bottom of your board on the coping. While rotating your upper body in the direction you want to turn, lean towards your back foot until your wheels are on the wall and your weight is centered above it. Do a kick turn while making sure that your wheels clear the coping on your way in. Come in like a kick turn and lean forwards. For frontside rocks, try keeping your back foot pointed towards the deck and pivoting on your toe on the way in. In the immortal words of Eddie Alguera, the pioneer of the frontside rock, the trick is in the back toe. Okay, rock and rolls. You know, Bucky, for having an aversion to the rock and roll, you really came out all right.
Yeah, I got it in my blood.
I think so. I think you're
From
in
the
that,
east.
I think you're in that gene pool.
Yeah, I am.
Can't deny it.
You can't deny.
So, you know, they are, seriously, they are hard, okay? Even though people think they're old, and they are old, but they're still hard to learn. So the biggest mistakes are locking up. Either one, rocks fakie, you don't get your wheels over. It's a little easier to fix on a rocks fakie because you can watch your wheels and watch them clear. On a rock and roll, you're already looking into the ramp, seeing where you're going, so you gotta trust your feet to clear it over the coping. And when you least expect it, it'll grab your front wheels and you're off the board. And I actually knocked out my teeth doing that in the lag. So just be wary of the rock and roll. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah, it's a rhythm thing. It's definitely a rhythm thing. You don't want to have too much speed. You want to definitely pivot. At your pivot point, you want to be slapping down your board and pivoting around, turning your shoulders.
And don't pause too long up there either, because that makes it harder to get your wheels clear. So work on it. You can start these on smaller ramps if you want to, but if you can do them on vert, you can do a lot more stuff from there. That's about it. Rock and rolls. Okay, we're done. You can start board sliding them if you want to. Slide your board a little bit. Now, then you're not so old school.
Yeah. Hurricane it. Rock on.
Okay, if you remember, Mike V showed us how to do the street plant. Well, we're going to teach you how to do the street plant, the invert on vert. And it's kind of a secret because it's always a crowd pleaser, you know? People like to see the invert. No matter what you're doing, if you can bust out a handstand on the top, people go crazy. And it's kind of hard to learn, but once you got it, you can take it to, you can just do all kinds of variations of it. So,
When all else fails.
yeah, when all else fails in the demo, bust out the invert. So the best way to start is by you grab with your front hand like mute in between your legs, and you can actually start it low, sort of, but it's a different technique once you start getting higher, because when you do it low, you've really got to lift off, and you got to trust yourself to hold your weight on your hand. That's hard to commit to in the beginning, but eventually you can do it. You just want to make sure your weight's straight over your hand, and you give it a little bunny hop, and you turn, you know, sort of pivot around your hand, and then let it go and come in. And it actually starts to get easier as you go higher.
Easier, but yet scary.
Yeah. There are a lot of variations to the invert. Some of our favorites are tuck knee, eggplant, in which you plant your front hand, andrecht, invert fakie, sad plant, switcheroo, gymnast, layback air, Elguerial, and the accident. Okay, the inverts, well, an abundance of things can go wrong with the invert because you got a lot to deal with, but main thing is not leaning completely over your hand and kind of leaning off to the side, and that's just not going to set you up for a good landing, and it's not really going to give you the feeling of an invert stalling on your hand. You know, it's more about sort of cheating it, and you can't really cheat it.
Right, and also having too much speed and missing grab on the coping. Missing the hand is a big no-no. You gotta watch out for that one.
You don't want that because that's coming down on your chin. So just make sure you're grabbing the coping really as you're taking off, you know, and you're just sort of pivoting around your arm. Your hand is the pivot point, and your body just goes around it. The other biggest mistake is just not pulling off the wall enough, and so if you're on the coping, it'll actually push you out onto the deck, and you're kind of halfway in, halfway out. You don't want that. So just make sure that you take off and you've popped out enough that you're going to be able to clear your wheels as you come in. You can actually use your arm a little bit to correct that and push off
a little here and there.
But you got to take off enough so that it's good from the get-go.
It's a lot easier once you commit to a full invert. When you're half in and half out, it's kind of hard. You got to push in because your board's out here, and you got to really commit to it.
As long as you know you can support your own weight, you can do the invert. You just got to trust yourself. Lean to tail slides. Well, first we want to teach how to do tail slides, right? Frontside ollie tail slides, but to do that, one of the best stepping stones, a secret to vert skating is to learn the lean to tail slide, and that is actually grabbing your nose while you're doing a tail slide. And that allows you to not worry about keeping your front foot on so much. It allows you to not have to slide as far as you think you do, as far as you think you need to, because you can just come in at any time. You know, if you're holding on, you can just lean in and come down the wall. You don't have to worry too much about your foot coming off. If it's sticking, if you slide more than you expect to, then you can still hold on to it. And it really prepares you for the ollie tail slide. So what you do is you come up, you grab your nose, right as you're reaching the top, you're heading front side, you got enough speed so you can slide a little bit, and then you just slide your tail into position using your hand quite a bit. And the more weight you put on your back foot, the further along you can slide, but the more chance you're gonna stick. So as long as you got your body positioning like a drop in, you're leaning in like you're ready to come in any time. As soon as you feel it drop, you just let it go and you're in. And it takes a while to get used to, but learning it, grabbing your nose is probably the key. You got any other?
You covered it all. I demonstrated. All right, we're wrapping up the lean tail slide. Not everyone's a cheater like Hawk here. I didn't use the cheater technique, you know, I just went balls out and just went tail slide.
Yeah,
Forget the grab. It's just a matter of transferring your weight from, like a grind, transferring your weight onto the tail, taking the slide, and then basically dropping back in again.
Once you go into ollie tail slides, it's a little different because you're not relying on holding onto your board, you're not relying on keeping your feet on that way. You've actually got to ollie into it, and when you get up on the tail slide, you got to stand up. Your weight's more on top than it is on the lean tail slide. So you get up there and you're sliding, and you know, if you've ever done it on a ledge or a curb or anything like that, same feeling, but at the same time, you don't have to ollie out of it. You just drop in the way you did the lean tail slide. So once you've got used to the cheater method, if you happen to take that route, which is totally fine, it's totally cool to do it that way. All right, we can all start somewhere. Then go into the ollie tail slides, and the ollie tail slide is the key is really in the ollie, and once you're on the coping, how you position your weight. Because if you're too far forward, you're gonna stick, and you're gonna fall forward. If you're leaning back and you happen to slide too much, you're gonna shoot out. And you gotta kind of figure out how slippery the coping is, and how much you can get on top of it.
Now, not only are we going to show you, I'm going to show him how to do ollie tail slide.
ollie tail slides, there's a few key problems with them. And if you've been trying them, you might have experienced. First one is sticking. You go up and ollie, get in tail slide position, and fall forward.
You get bucked. You get bucked.
How do you fix it?
How do you fix it? You lean back on it. You kind of, you know, I don't want to say squat, but you kind of fix your weight over top your board, like kind of sitting behind it, because you're gonna stick a little, so you gotta be ready for that stick.
It's all about the weight distribution in your back foot. Really, once you're up there, if you're sticking, then just try to get up on the heel a little bit more, lean your upper body back. And then another common mistake is you get up there and you slide out, and that's because you're leaning too far on your heel and your weight's back here. So just gotta find that balance. Depends on the coping. Coping might be slippery, so you gotta adjust for that. What else?
Missing your tail or actually hanging up is a disaster.
Yeah, if your aim's off and you ollie too far over, you end up going to a lip slide. That's not what you intended to do. Or you end up not getting your tail on at all because maybe you don't have enough speed, maybe you missed the ollie.
Yeah, just carve it. Just remember to carve, because if you carve it, you get a good carve in. It doesn't matter if you stick or slide. You got a nice carve. You're gonna hit your tail. It'll come easy.
The more you're carving, the less it means to slide it, because if you carve a lot and you're only up there a little bit, at least you've covered that distance. And if you're not carving, you only do a little bit, then it's gonna stick on you more likely. So just find that balance, you know, and just practice the tail slides. Just be confident with it. Get your weight up there.
Just go for it.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Bucky. Thanks for the help.
Always a pleasure working with the world's sexiest athlete.
Yeah, anyway, we appreciate your help.
All right.
You're not too bad looking yourself there, buddy. See you next time. Thanks to everyone that helped us. I hope you had a good time, because this is our third video, and I feel like if you've learned all the stuff in this video, you're on your way. You know, you don't really need any more help from us. You're probably gonna make up your own tricks by now. So we had a good time. Want to thank all the athletes that have worked with us in this video, previous videos. Thank all the crew that are all here that you don't even see. So we should just bring them in front of the camera right now. Everyone's got to come up. Come on. You guys, here, I'll hold this. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Yosh.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Look, we got, see? Oh, yeah. These are all the guys you don't see, and Maddie's
Morgan, come
there
on.
behind the camera. but
Morgan, come on.
He's got to stay behind the camera.
Whoa.
So, that's it. Thanks. We had fun. Go on. You can go off into the world now. Go skate. Take your skills elsewhere. Okay? See ya!
Official toy cost. Game of
Coin
skate.
cost. Coin cost. Coin cost.
Official coin toss.
This is for the game of skate. Rookies first. Heads. Looks like you're up, buddy.
All right. Where do you
What
want?
you
This
got?
wall?
No, that wall.
That wall? Just gonna start it out, you know, a little something.
That means it's my turn. Here you go. He doesn't like that one. That was the 360 burial, and gosh, when's the last time you did that one, Bucky?
I believe that you're picking all these tricks because you know I won't be caught dead trying them.
Whatever it takes.
This is for you, Mr. Tony Hawk.
Woo, boy. What to do?
Wow.
What to do?
Can I get a copy of that?
I got one. Indy 5, what?
Wow, that's so weird. I was here yesterday just telling them how I've never done one.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot.
I'll let you know. This one's for you.
Thank you.
Kiss them goodbye.
Oh, that was pretty close.
Me, I have an S.
Give me an S. No, I mean give him an S. We'll give him a K right now.
Is that what you want? You want one of those? Huh? Take this. Mr. Indy 540.
All right, I'm bringing this down old school. Ready? You got that? Pass that on?
There's like a judo count.
No. All the weight on your foot. Oh! Dang. Out of nowhere. Okay. Now what? That was bad.
Here, I'll do it for you. Can I get a side of S with that?
No.
S for superstar. Watch it. Oh! Here it comes. I don't think you can do this one.
Billy, 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 Billy.
All right, here you go, Hawk.
I'll take that S. Hey, but can you do this one?
Oh yeah.
Eggplant. How about this one?
Well, that was pretty lame. What was that? Shove his nose?
Oh man, are you kidding me?
Oh, come on, you can do it.
Never once have I done that in my life.
Can you say Indy 540? Oh, yeah! It's quiet! Oh, man. All right, here we go.
What about this one? There's body jar.
Being that I never did a body jar before, this ought to be an interesting A.
Hey, can you ska?
Ska, brah.
Ska? Oh, remember that one you tried? Frontside cab? Remember you tried that frontside cab?
Yeah, I recall.
You better make one now. Or you got the Scat Man!
I don't like scat.
Make it. Now I'm in quite a predicament because he's only got one more letter to go. And if I do something that I know he can't do, he's gonna give me a hard time saying that I copped out. So, I gotta do something he can do. And you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go with a trick that I know he can do. And I usually can't. Because if I take him out with that one, it's a sad day in Oceanside.
Oh.
Now here's one that Bucky actually invented, and I had to learn it after he learned it. And it's still scary.
Backside ollie 3.
Oh! Dang.
Okay, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Don't let me down. You know what you gotta do. Do it.
Okay, one more.
One more? Come on, baby. You can do it. Just give me a little flip. I'll grab you and put you back on. Just do a little flip and a spin, and I'll put you back on my feet. Don't worry about anything else. I'll do the rest. All right? Just keep up your part of the bargain. Flip and turn. Just like in the pool. Remember what I taught you in the pool? Atta girl! Atta girl!
But that was the first try, the first one ever?
Good girl! Atta girl.
Bang, dude, that was pretty good. You have to come up with something else?
Yeah. I'm in the game still.
Oh, man. Huh? He has scat because he got the rebate. And I got SK. And here we go. You want? Side blunt, dude.
Front side blunt.
Slide it?
I have to. I can't do that. I can't do slide either. As you can see, I just skated with Tony. Yesterday, we were talking about. And two of the tricks that I couldn't do yesterday were Indy 5 and frontside blunt. So,
No, he was trying frontside blunt slide. I was trying to make it easy for him.
yeah. Athletes don't throw in the towels. Good night!
All right, well, that was a game of skate. Took Bucky out, but good job.
Thanks, Hawk.
Good try.
Dirty bird.
Come on now.
Man, you're doing tricks you know I can't do.
Oh man, what? Frontside heel flip?
No, Indy 5.
Oh well, I had to, do something. I had to take him down on something.
No, that was good incentive. It helped me, push me to try it.
That's the idea of playing the game. Is just that it pushes you to learn new stuff. Like I really want to learn backside tail slide reverse now.
Right.
And they used to scare me to death. And because you do it every single time, it makes me feel like I want to learn it. And I tried it, so I was stoked.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
I'm a good
Rail
loser.
kickle bennies.
Yeah, I learned a trick.
Not bad. So anyway, we suggest that you go play skate to figure out some new tricks, you know?
Fun game.
Because your buddies can do stuff that you can't do, and suddenly you think, well, maybe I could try that. And they'll push you to try it, you know? Because maybe you can't get that incentive on your own. So go skate. Play skate.